I know. Freaking 5 States of Fear.
We're just going to go with that
No,
opening.
no,
Yep,
no.
that's the one. Kaylee needs to know better.
God,
that when we press record, that if you guys haven't noticed, Kaylee's gotten caught doing a lot of really funny things that I put into the openings or the endings. And I think a lot of people, I've actually even had people comment like, oh, you forgot to cut that out. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't.
No, but you do.
No, I didn't. Because I find it so funny.
You cut a lot of my stuff out, though.
I cut some things out.
Like,
I only cut the things out that make me look bad.
All right.
Yeah, that's when you say all the
threats.
things. Yeah. Threats. Threats.
Abuse that's now spousal abuse.
My wife. My lovely wife.
Yep.
Who I abuse, supposedly.
You're going to cut it, watch.
No, I'm not cutting it. People need to know the truth once and for all. 5 States of Fear. Now, this was sent to us by Guillermo Canales, which was wonderful for him to do. Because I've been looking for this movie forever. And honestly, I wish I hadn't been.
I know.
Because this was terrible.
This was a rough watch.
Now,
to say the least.
I totally get why this is not on disc. I totally get why this has been unreleased. So, yeah, I am a big fan of Chilling Visions 5 Senses of Fear. I've always championed it as one of the better anthologies. I love the concept behind it of these, every story having to do with a bodily sense, whether it's smell or taste, touch. Mm-hmm. So with this one, I'm thinking, okay, like 5 States of Fear, is that going to be like states as in like, the country? Or is that going to be like states, like the kinds of states people can exist within?
Right.
The poster suggests that it has to do with specific states in the country, like Texas and California and whatever. While watching this anthology, it's never really apparent outside of maybe just one quick little nod or something like this newscast or something I think says California or something. So it's like, oh, I guess this one's in California. It has nothing to do with the states.
No, but I do think that they are meant to be in the different states as in areas of the country, because there's
one's in the snow, one's at the beach.
Right.
I get it.
One's in some big open field
the
in the heartlands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that it doesn't have any real relevance to the stories within.
No, not at all. There was a show on Quibi for about, the 2 seconds that platform lasted. Quibi was this very short-lived cell phone only 2 to 3 or even 5-minute episodes. I reviewed some things on here because they had a couple horror shows. And anyways, Quibi had a show called 50 Dates of Fright? 50 Fright, something like that. And it was produced by Sam Raimi and went 2 seasons. I watched one of the seasons, and basically every 2 or 3 episodes was 1 or 2 episodes would make up a story. And there was so many episodes per season, whatever. The point being is that each story, which was anthologies, was some other folklore or urban legend of that state that it was set in. So if it was in California, if it was in here, it took some local legend from that state and it did an episode on it, which I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's more, that more has to do with that state, right?
Which is, it's a really cool idea.
It is a very cool idea. And in here, if that's the case here, I'm not aware of it.
It's very underwhelming if that is the case.
Beyond. I don't really honestly have any interest to talk spoilers because, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say anything spoiler. I just don't care because here's the thing. You're not going to be able to find this movie.
No.
Guillermo Canales found it somehow. I'm sure it's torrentable somewhere. But don't look for it. There's no point. So I can sum this entire freaking film up in like a sentence or two. Essentially, as soon as any episode or any segment starts to get interesting, it ends.
100%.
That's it.
Everything felt way too underdeveloped and rushed.
Yes.
And there also is a definite amateur vibe to all of the segments.
Yes.
There's things that I like from different segments that I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a cool concept. Or like, I feel like I like that shot. Or, whatever. The cinematography here isn't that bad. But I will say that I don't think I particularly liked any acting from anybody. Not that they did any, like, it's not unwatchable kind of bad acting, but for me at least, and it's possible that it's just because I didn't get enough time with the characters, but I just was underwhelmed is the word that comes to mind the easiest. Underwhelmed with the acting and the stories.
Like Asian daughter and mom.
It's just very
acting there was pretty terrible.
There's definitely some that are better than others.
The newscaster couple was pretty terrible.
That was pretty terrible. I thought that there's a segment with a couple that goes hiking in the woods near Lyme, Connecticut. I thought that the girl was okay. She was pretty good. And when I say pretty good, I mean she was better than the guy.
I thought he was better.
Really?
I did.
No.
I did. I thought she was stiff.
Oh my god, when they're sitting there and he was like... He said something and it was so like weird and awkward the way he said it, like very unnatural. He was like, let's go hiking. But
what about the opening when they're out on the porch and he's like trying to, or whatever, balcony or whatever, and he's trying to talk to her and she's yeah, I'll go with you. No,
you're right. Okay, you know what? The whole thing with that segment was that I liked the way they looked together. Like all the shots of them not talking, just being like a couple. I was like,
sure, they're both good looking.
Well, yeah, and they were like being sweet with each other, and like that was all fine. But then when they started talking to each other, I was just like, please don't talk. But and then the first segment was like, it seriously felt.
The first segment was 4 seconds
so
long.
Short. It felt like a YouTube, like a short film on YouTube. Like one of those ones when you type in like short horror movies.
It didn't feel like a freaking short on YouTube. It felt like a short on TikTok.
It was very, very quick. And the second segment with the old man, I found his acting also not that great. But see, like there's just parts of different stories of each of the stories that I'm like, that's kind of cool. I wish that they could go into that more. But
the old man with dementia and his kids trying, here's the spoiler, his kids trying to convince him he has dementia so that they can get his house and put him in a home, is definitely the most interesting one of the bunch for me. But it's like they never ever even get close to fully utilizing that story and actually taking it into really cool places. They have one single cool shot.
Yes, there's a really cool shot
where he's sitting on top of their grave as they're buried underneath him. Very cool.
Yes.
I like that shot a lot.
Me too.
Outside of that, I mean, it's just every time. And I was making jokes with her because we were like 3 segments in. We had finished the 3rd segment. And I was just like, okay. So basically, this entire thing is like, somebody wronged somebody or whatever, and they're dead.
Yeah.
So, somebody pisses someone off and then they die.
Yeah.
But instantly. It's so like fast. The first segment, bro. What? It's seriously like this guy takes this girl out into the desert,
like in the plains,
and he's gonna bury her, right? They make it seem like he's flirting with her and this and that, and then they show that she's like tied up, and then he's just like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. He takes her out. He's gonna bury her. She starts to laugh because I'm assuming she could sense the presence of all the other girls and how eventually they were going to come after him. I don't know how she sensed that already.
No, I don't either.
I don't get that at all, but whatever. She was in tune with the spirits and they were like, don't worry, he's going to kill you, but we'll get him back. I
So
don't
she's
know.
like, haha, funny
Yeah.
story, Mark.
Ha ha ha.
Gonna die.
What a story, Mark.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he hits her in the face with the shovel. He goes home to his wife.
His wife's like super beautiful.
Sure, she's beautiful and she's like really into him and
Like,
whatever. He's a psychopath.
Golf stories.
Sure, like it's interesting.
Yeah.
And he notices his ring's missing, and so he goes out. And there is a cool shot of this ghost behind her, and I was like, oh, this could be cool. Like he's gonna be haunted by the past, and all these girls that he killed are gonna come after him, almost like the ending of like Maniac, right?
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this could be neat, right? And then he just like goes to retrieve his ring, and then he looks out, and all his past victims are just kind of standing there, and then it's over, and you're like, whoa, wait, this was 10 minutes long?
It was like 8 minutes long.
It was
so
I was just like, that's it? That's the segment?
Yeah.
That's one of the stories? The guy kills a girl, and then he goes back to get the ring, and the girls just are like around him, and he's like, "Oh,
I'm dead.
Bummer.
I'm gonna die."
Nothing. They
No,
don't
it
show
was-
anything. They don't. He just kind of looks up, and he's like, "Yoinks," and then it's over.
He dies so fast. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the idea was with that, but this movie was like kind of a waste of time in a lot of ways. Unfortunately,
100,000%.
I'm glad that we watched it because of how long you'd been wanting to see it. But we do not
Checked off the
recommend
checklist.
it.
Hell
Don't
no.
watch it. It's not worth it. If you have watched it, sorry, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, I literally have like almost nothing to say. It's just like this woman has a daughter who died. She comes back from the dead. She accepts this very easily. She's just like, "Oh, you're back. Huh. Funny story, Mom." And then she's just like, "I want revenge." And the mom's like, "Oh, I'll definitely give you revenge." And then the daughter's like, "Okay, that's awesome." And then she's like, "I don't know if I want to give you revenge." And then she's like, "You got to." And she's like, "Okay." And then she goes out and she kills the guy. And then her daughter like just walks back into the ocean, and it's over.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can simplify any movie. Like I can tell you any movie like that, right? I can take any film that's ever been made and I can simplify it down to that to make it seem like it's less than. But the way I'm telling it to you is actually how it's portrayed in this film. It is that quick.
That simple,
it is
that
that simple.
fast. Yeah.
Right? So that's the thing. Because you can take any complex movie. I can take Silence of the Lambs right now, and I can make it where like,
Sure.
oh, this girl gets hired on as
you
as
can
an
just
FBI
kinda-
detective, and then she goes and she finds this guy. She talks to him, and then he's like, oh, it's probably this dude. And then he goes and then they're like, nah, I'm not gonna listen to you because you're a chick. And then she's like, well, I'm a good detective chick. And so I'm gonna go look for this other guy, and then she finds the guy, and then like he tries to sneak up on her, and she's like, nah.
She's like, nah.
And that's it. And then the
See,
cannibal
there you go.
dude gets away.
The problem isn't
You
the
can simplify
simplicity
anything.
of it, I think, because you could take a really cool concept and make it very simple and still have it be an effective...
Halloween? Anybody ever heard of that movie?
Literally that, right?
The most
But
simplistic
it's
film
just-
ever made?
All of them are super basic, very uninspired, very like you've seen that trope or that theme or whatever done
1,000 times
every
better.
other way possible. And it's just boring, really, is what it comes down to. It was just boring. It was a
100%.
boring film, and we should stop talking about it. We have
I think
nothing else to
I think
say.
I need to just start simplifying movies from now on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that on TikTok.
You should.
There's a
should.
chick,
There's a chick.
and she does this thing, and they're like, nah.
And they're like, nah. And she's like, yeah.
And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, this was terrible. But thank you to Guillermo for
Thank
sending it
you.
to us.
Yes.
Because seriously, I had to check it off. I had to. And he knew I had to. So he was gracious enough to get it off my mind. So now I don't ever have to think about it again. I don't want to ever see it again. I'm
Nope.
done with it.
Done.
But at least it's off my mind because I've been wanting to see it forever. And soon we're going to get to watch The Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, Hold the Book of Shadows.
So excited.
The director's cut as close as they can get it. And I'm very excited to see that because it's another one on my bucket list of just like, I want to see the original intention of Joe Berlinger. So there's other films that I want to see that I've always wanted to see. And this was one of them. Waste of time, but not a waste of time because now I've seen it.
Yes, exactly.
And it's terrible.
And it's... Yeah.
So we're moving on. Bye.
Bye.